So, Black Widow has just come out. Well, it's been in cinemas since Wednesday, but obviously opening weekend to see it if you haven't seen it yet. So yeah, we're just going to be doing a Black Widow film review. So let's get on top of it. So, how do I think the movie went? As far as a film, it's honestly a great film. One thing I will say is that it had twists. Like it happened. This film was set after Captain America: Civil War, which I thought was a lot more of a genius idea than setting it. So at first I thought it was going to be like a prequel, like before she did Iron Man 2 or just after she did Iron Man 2, something along those lines. But no, they did it after Civil War, which I think works a lot better and gives a lot more relevance to some stories, basically what she was doing while she was on the run, after she basically stopped T'Challa from catching Captain America and basically letting him go free. So how do I think this film fared? Well, there's a lot of great elements to it. There's a lot of action scenes. There's a lot of interesting plots. Um, the main villain is a guy called Dreykov, who basically runs the Red Room that supplies all the Black Widow soldiers. Again, there's not going to be any spoilers in this review, so I'm not going to give you too much. He controls Taskmaster, which is another villain in this, which you probably would have seen in the trailer anyway. And basically, Taskmaster's ability is if he watches, if Taskmaster watches all the footage or like watches how someone fights, then Taskmaster can basically copy it. Taskmaster will just copy abilities, and if you watch the film, you'll see there's so many like Easter eggs on how Taskmaster fights. You'll see like how he copies Black Panther, how he copies Hawkeye. I couldn't remember the name. Captain America. Taskmaster's basically copying all their abilities, and it honestly looks cool. So there's a lot of great references there. There's a lot of funny jokes that are in there. Obviously, Black Widow meets her sister or somewhat sister in. They give you a bit more detail. Like in the opening story, basically shows you what happened when she was young, how she got taken to the Red Room where she learned all her skills and stuff like that. So they basically give you all that information and give you more of an insight into Natasha's life and her quote unquote family. Yep, there we are. So, in terms of a film, the thing is, it is an interesting film, but I wish, obviously, like the way they've done it, like they've done it to set after Civil War, that doesn't make it seem too late. But I feel like if it did come out after Civil War, maybe it would give a bit more insight. There is an end credit scene for anyone who's wondering. There's only one, so you just have to stay till there. Are end credits, and that will set up something in the future, um, which I don't really know how that's going to work. I don't know how interesting that's going to be. But obviously, knowing what happens to Natasha if you've watched the Avengers Endgame and Infinity War, you'll know that she's just going to win and accomplish her goal. But the way she does it, they still make you think it's interesting. It's still a very good film that I do recommend watching. Now, in terms of a score, I don't really know how to score this. I've been struggling in my mind again to think, because in my head I'm thinking, would I watch this over a different hero film? Like, would I watch this over Iron Man or Thor, Captain America again? Would I watch this repeatedly? Probably not as much as I would watch those other films. It is a great film. It does have a lot of interesting plot points, and it does have gives you more of an insight to Black Widow, which I thought was great. I think for now, as like a film, I'll give it a 7.5 because I do think as a film it's great. There is stuff that I feel like is lacking, and obviously, um, knowing what happens afterwards does take away from it a little bit, but they still give you interesting details and interesting insights, which is great. But obviously, like knowing what's going to happen next does ruin it a little bit for you. But if you just want to watch a film and you haven't seen the rest of it afterwards and you're enjoying to watch Black Widow, in terms of a Black Widow film, it is actually great. So that's why I'm giving it a 7.5 because I can't knock it too much just because I know what happens afterwards. If I didn't, I think this would maybe bumped up if I like never knew. But yeah, I think that's about it for the Black Widow film. Like I said, I'm not going to give you too many spoilers. I'm just going to tell you a rough insight on how it works. Obviously, Natasha has to defeat Dreykov and Taskmaster and accomplish her goals of officially destroying the Red Room. I wish we'd actually learn about more what happened in Budapest. We learned a little bit. I don't think we got the full insight, but you know, it's interesting. So yeah, 7.5 out of 10 for Black Widow. Hopefully you all enjoyed this film review, and I will probably do another one soon. But until then, yeah, see you next time.